guys, welcome back. Today we got a Generac GP6500. Customer complaint, it won't start. It sits for a couple years. First thing you think of is fuel. So look what I found inside the tank. So we've got some separation of fuel in here. So that is old gas that's sitting on the bottom there, which is probably your ethanol and everything else that breaks down, all that nasty stuff. It gets heavier than the fresh gas. So of course it's sitting down there in a pickup. So even putting new gas in here, the first thing it's going to do is going to want to suck in the old gas. So what we're going to have to do is drain this. As you can see, there is good fuel in here moving around, right? And you're just seeing the old fuel underneath. It's kind of cool. It's like an ocean under an ocean. So we're going to drain the fuel on this first and drain the bowl and the carb if there's anything left in there that hasn't been dried out. But my bet is the carburetors are going to have to come out and we're going to have to clean out some of this gum residue from this fuel, which is, by all chances, has probably gelled inside the carburetor, blocking all the important little parts to get to start. So that's what we're going to do, drain the fuel first. All right, so we're going to dive on in, get this fuel changed out of here, drain the bowl, see where we're at. So we're going to drain this fuel out of here. Thought I heard somebody out there behind me. We'll go ahead and drain it from here, pre-filter. Put a new filter on here anyway. I got that fuel shut off, turned off up there, so we're not gonna dump a whole lot here. It smells like nasty gas. Lower this down some. Is that low enough? No. I'm just trying to keep this pushed out some. I don't want to hold this thing all day long. That might do it. Let's see. Nope, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Neither does that. Hose over a hose it is. Slide it up there. That works for me. Just get that up in there. And let that drain down here. Right. Why does everything gotta be a fight with you? Come on. Every time I try to do something on camera, I look like an idiot. My daggone snips that. See you hidden there, little jewel. Sounds like a customer out front. Go ahead and let that drain. Well, that was cool. I had two back-to-back customers there. One drop off and one pickup. Cool. All right, well, I kind of skipped a little bit, not a whole lot. All I did was take off this main plate here, the filter box, after I got the fuel drained out. I sucked everything out in my little bitty fuel sucker there, oil sucker, fluid transfer tube, whatever you want to call it. Got it all out of the tank. Now all I did was take this front off of here, which is the filter housing. There were just a few screws along the way here to get the screen out, and just all little 8mm nuts. Those come off. Had to get my little PCV tube, popped up out of here because it went down to the casing here and the two bolts here. So of course, yeah, I didn't need to do this to drain the carburetor, but I have a feeling I have to do more than this. So, but I've got room now to see what I need to see and get this out of here. And if you know me, I don't like to work in tight spaces, so I will take off what I need so I can see clearly what's going on instead of guessing or feeling or cocking my head funny ways. So I got this off here, that way we can see a little better. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this off of here, drain the bowl, see what it looks like, and I'm gonna pop the bowl off and see if there's any gelling in there, and that'll let me know if I need to go further up and maybe see if there's anything blocked in there. So that's where we're gonna start. I don't know why we still use Phillips, because they strip all the freaking time. Well, I guess I'm here, I'm doing it. Anti-rattle spring. Isn't that just cute? So here's the fuel shut off, or your Anti After Fire Solenoid. Can you follow this over here? Look at this. Yeah, that's what I call a closed circuit. Look at that. What's the point of having it on there? Well, I found out the reason for that closed circuit wiring on there. Apparently this is the same exact engine configuration that they run on these Generacs for the electric starts or the pull starts. And that solenoid is just usually plumbed into their wiring system on the electric start. That way when you got actually battery on the system, when the key on, it will do what it's supposed to do. What doesn't make sense is that that blocks fuel for the afterfire, so I'm not sure why it's even there, but I took it off and tested it with voltage and it actually does still work. So what we're going to do, if it doesn't run right, which, spoiler, it doesn't run right with it, I pulled it down out of there and just clipped it off of there because it's doing more harm unless it's hooked up. So I don't know if that was another carburetor that somebody put on there, because they do sell two different options. But what I was reading is it's kind of like a mixed bag, depends on what you get, who sells it, who produces it, whatever, that they'll run either style on the carburetor bowl there. So either way, for this method, since we're not having a key switch, there's no battery on the system, it is not supposed to have that. And even it being there physically is a problem, because it's going to hinder your fuel delivery. So it's going bye-bye. I guess it looks good to the EPA, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, that carburetor's leaking. I can smell that nasty old gas. I don't need big honcho. Little honcho here's fine. There we go. Body panel tool comes in handy. God, I hate these Phillips screws. Just tap them a little bit with a hammer. I'm gonna hold the carburetor in air, so I'm not gonna slam it against nothing. Just give it a little impact. To the other side. Doesn't always work, but it helps. Let's see if that gets us anywhere. God bless, some things are in there. See, it'd be nice if these were flathead. It's a broken two. That's fun. I have a two around here somewhere. Well, hi there, baby. You look lost. What are you doing? Okay. Random dog coming in here. My dogs would not like that. Let's see, a little less belly view, a little more what I'm doing view. There we go. Forward. Seriously? Man, look at that. All it takes to make an impact is an impact. Word. I'm gonna do that first. All right, let's see how bad this is. I don't know how that even, having that unhooked would choke this thing so bad. I wonder if I used to have it hooked in somewhere. They had to have. Obviously, go to the ignition. I got that through the oil pressure switch. And that little guy, that's odd. It's very odd to find that little thing looped in such a way to where it was like this. Makes you wonder, don't it? Because the way these work, it'll block your jet when the power's turned off. This is how it was hooked up. Power comes on, pulls in this plunger on this solenoid here, allows the fuel to come through. They'll still run. They'll just run like crap with it clogged. Usually they'll still run. Not well, if very well at all. That's interesting. Think on that one a little bit. I just find that odd that that was not hooked up, but it was there. Anywho, that's nasty. Okay, just take that off there. Not gonna be a 14, a little big. Okay, so maybe an actual 16ths, no, 13. Well, I guess our best bet was the 14. Okay, whatever. What a long screw. I already see the nasty in there from here. Alright, let's see what the magic is. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Smells terrible. Yeah, baby. Okay, well, I'll clean it while I'm here. Okay. Make sure when you're cleaning any jets, you don't force it. As much as you want to, it doesn't want to go, don't force it, because you don't want to oversize these jets. That was pretty good first try. I just kind of gently go around in a circular motion here. Yeah, feels pretty good. And that'll come all the way through. See it coming through the middle. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. And there's also an idle jet here that nobody ever remembers. He's always the one that never gets invited to the party. This is also your idle adjustment screw, so just keep an eye on where it was. And just put it back there, because this is what holds down your idle jet. Idle jet has very, very, very small holes in it. And we're gonna pop that little dude out of there. Hoi, hoi, hoi. Right, here's your actual jet. Okay, there we go. So you've got ports down in here that go through, probably under this. Yeah, there's a couple small ports. See these little bitty guys in here? They're all part of the cavity that this runs through. And this Welsh plug that's blocked in here, that covers the factory milling ports that was used to do all these. So here's your idle jet. You're gonna have a couple O-rings on here. Pay attention to those. You should have an O-ring here on the end. There's one O-ring, and the other is up here. This is the main flow through here, but there's also a small one right here in the middle. You'll see on a lot of these are just plastic, they're not brass, and many times even the smallest jet wire or jet cleaning you have, that wire is going to be too big most of the time. See, like even that one there is a little too big. So what I've found, what I've had to do is keep some hobby wire around that's really small, or even one of your bristles off of your, like off of your brushes here. They're really fine, so I'll sacrifice one of these little guys because they're usually pretty small. These get clogged really easy, but there is a hole there. I promise you that. You just gotta be careful. Like I said, this is one of those, if it doesn't fit, don't force it type deal. But if you know you're halfway in a hole, that doesn't even make sense. If you know you've entered that hole and you've got resistance, give a little bit of light pressure and wiggle this. I mean, there's no teeth on the end of this one, so you're just kind of trying to push it through to clear it up. Or if you have any way to throw some light through it, you can look in there, Looks like I'm gonna have to find an even finer wire to go in there. Let's see what else I got. Yeah, sure, why not? That's almost as small as a hair. Now I know it's, you know, it's small. But the idea, see how it came through? We know that hole's not closed up because that wire came through. I really don't know if you can see it or not. Put my finger on the background. It's right there. So we know that hole is not closed up. That's good. While I'm in there, I'm gonna give it a couple little turns. Blow it out with an air gun, or you can blow it out with some safe solvent that's not gonna mess up your plastics. But we know that's good. We're not gonna put that back in just yet. Gaskets, if I can, I like to reuse them. Because these paper ones can be reused as long as they're not just tore up so bad. Because this could make the difference between getting this thing done right now and having to wait a day or two to get a kit. So this is just, if I can do it, I'm gonna do it. Put it to the side. Here's a little cavity. I've got another little jet here. My smallest needle, and see if they go in. Yep, that one goes through there good. Yeah, that cavity's good. And that guy's good. Let's go back to these little guys. Sometimes these little itty bitty baby holes right here. The only way you can really get them good and cleaned is to take out the Welsh plug, install a new one. But you can get sometimes down here in these little angles. That's just my jet, mixture jet. Get this started. There we go. You can't really see, but I am getting the tip of that in there. Well, that's nice. I dropped my idle jet. I'll clean it out, make sure it's good again, I guess. Yeah, what's more fun than doing something once is doing it twice. And that same cavity is also the same one that's gonna work around this needle valve here. I don't see a whole lot of crud up inside this thing, so I really am doubtful if there's anything up in there. Looks like his dad or whoever had this running before most likely ran it out of fuel. And that's the reason there's nothing residual inside of here. It's just the old tank. The old fuel from the tank made its way into the bowl, and that's as far as it got. Or else I would pull out this jet, which is just pop this plastic cap off. And what I do before taking them out is I'll bottom them out. Not too much, because you don't want to mess up your needle valve. The second you ever tighten a needle valve, it's shot. So you just kind of tighten them down until it starts to snug and count your ways in. That way you know how far it was adjusted out from bottom out. Usually it's a turn and a half or a turn and a quarter out. But do that before you remove it, and then you can clean that area up in there. Now I need my blow tool. This stupid thing off of here. There we go. I don't want any more of that bad gasket in there. Put her back together and she's gonna run. How do you know? I know. This right back down in here where she went. Remember where we were before? About that far. Be a good starting point. Your tip on there looks good. Drop it down. My bowl, I mean, there's not even a touch of residue in here, so there's nothing for me to do. Usually I'd have a bunch of crust in here. And it smells rough, but there's no varnishing in there for me to do anything with, which is good. Let's see, the way this was on here, it's the back side, this is the front side. Drain was out on the back side. Gasket's in place. So it's gonna sit back on here like this. Keep my drain out to the side, that way you can access it good. Cool. I'm just so confused by that shutoff not being wired up to anything. See, it sits here like this. You see how it blocks this cavity? It's a mystery. It's too small. Oh, that went through there. It's funny. Okay, those are all cleaned out. Well, the GoPro died, so here we are. On the rare occasion that anybody decides to delete this, it helps with the after fire. So when you shut it off, it'll keep it from backfiring because it shuts the fuel off as well. That's really the biggest purpose of these. There's also some safety involved in case of like a rollover or ignition, yada. It's supposed to shut the fuel off so you don't have an active fuel source for any type of fire during a rollover or any type of accident. But I have known some guys, not me of course, who have just snipped these off with a pair of dikes. And I'm not, you know, it's up to you. But if there's no stem, there's no fuel shut off. So take it however you want it. So seeing how this was closed like this and how it was, I'm gonna leave it that way for now, unless I see reason otherwise. And for diagnostic purposes, I'm not putting this breather cover back on here yet. All right, no magic tricks, no tomfoolery, whoever tomfoolery is. I've got my actual choke mechanism not on here, but I'm just going to control the choke with my hand for now. Throttle's already pre-controlled by the governor on these generators. They just run 1 RPM, go. So let's give it a test fire and see what we got. Ran a little fresh fuel through the tank, drained it up, before I put the filter on, new filter. So no overfilling, float's working good. Throttle's already in full send, ready to scream. Check the oil, we got good oil. There's oil in there, so that's a good start. I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a test pull, and this is the first time trying to start this thing after the fuel system, so we'll see what she does. Here, get that lower. Alright. Trying to choke off maybe? See if I can get her to wake up a little bit. Wake up! She's gonna cough for sure. Really? What the heck, man? Huh. Kill switch was off. What a dummy. By all accounts, it shouldn't be running, but it is. But scientists also say that a bee can't fly. I'm sorry. Physicists. Smart guys say that bees can't fly, yet they do. So whatever. I think it was just running on a little bitty partial choke there because all that breather assembly adds restriction, adds vacuum, and me not having this on here gives it free flow and therefore running lean. That's why it was lean popping. Half full open, so we'll get the rest of it on here and see how she runs. The air box back on there, let's see how she runs. Kill switch is on this time. On, for on. Choke hooked up, back up here. Why is it all messed up? What's going on here, Spunky? Ugh. I'll put that on backwards. Swell. Please hold. Got time for this.
2,000 years later.
Take 229. Really? Why do you hate me so? It's on this time. Choke it. Cool. Should be good to go. I'll probably change spark plug too, if it looks bad. Or if it's got some knockoff Chinese in it, which it probably does. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one.